That works. And whoa, 1 out of 3. That's not possible. Look, everything's all set. Oh, I'm gonna get started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is a Thursday. It is 7:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the East Coast, here on the Primetime with Taff and Phil channel, and it is episode 34 of your host with the most, Philip White. Phil here for your free refill. Your second of the week, of course. Of course, you were here on a Monday. You're now here on a Thursday, and you're here to 100%, look at this. This is my free refill choice of the day today. It's some Lipton iced tea lemonade. I am here joined by the most recently fired head coach, Mike, wrong Mcdaniel. That one already got fired a few years ago. We're talking about Mike McDaniel, recently fired from the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to be talking about that to lead off the show with the big conclusion. After John Harbaugh's firing, we get to see Mike McDaniel fired just a few short days after. I'm going to be talking about the college football playoff, as we will have Ole Miss tonight playing against the Miami Hurricanes. And then after that, we're going to be having a little bit of conversation about the National Football League playoffs in terms of who I think is going to win. And then I'll also get into some head coaching vacancies that I think I'll be ranking as well. So that's the schedule. Number 1, Mike McDaniel. Number 2, college football playoff. Number 3, NFL head coaching vacancies. And number 4, the wild card playoffs. That is the plan. And then a little bit of throwing in just my thoughts on the most recent Trae Young trade, which happened last night as he got sent over to Washington. A lot of stuff to get into. I'm excited to just get started. We're already 2 minutes in, so let's get going. Starting off with the big kahuna earlier today. The Miami Dolphins have officially moved off of Mike McDaniel. This is the 8th head coaching vacancy that will now be open this offseason. That is 25% of NFL teams will be having a new head coach to start the year. Mike McDaniel, after a, let's be honest, very disappointing Miami Dolphins season once again. Another season that kind of started off slow and then was a little better down the stretch, but this time certainly not nearly as good, with crushing losses to, well, for one, losing in the final regular season finale to New England, getting blown out by the Cincinnati Bengals. They did beat Tampa, give them a little credit there, but overall, I think the Dolphins have to be at least a little upset with the way they finished the season, especially when you consider the biggest headline of this team that is supposed to be a high-flying offensive team. Of course, losing, having their biggest headline being Anthony Weaver being their DC as like a potential head coaching candidate, and Tua Tagovailoa's significant regression. A lot of these things, especially with Mike McDaniel and the offense floundering, also overshadowing someone like Devon Achane, who actually had, or Achane, I guess. It says Achane. It really should be Achane. I recommend he, look into a change in pronunciation, not a change in spelling, because it's honestly perfect. The Miami Dolphins, after a disappointing season, actually somehow just slightly worse than last year at 7-10. They are now going to be in the market for a new head coach, which I think first of all is the right decision. At his best in Miami, Mike McDaniel was able to get them into the playoffs, but just nothing ever further than that. They never won the division. They never felt particularly stronger than, say, the Buffalo Bills. They certainly don't even feel stronger than the New England Patriots. I think that also could have been a big reason why Mike McDaniel was out, failing to take advantage of an opportunity of what would have been a weak AFC East. Now you're dealing with a AFC East that is now twice his strength and power with the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. It's just not a position to be in. So I just can't really justify it for what I would overall consider. I just can't justify keeping Mike McDaniel. I'm glad they moved off. And I will be honest, what's interesting about the way he was fired is that he was not fired immediately. And I think it's a little shocking that he was not fired earlier this week. Like, we would have thought, he would have been one of the first ones gone. No, he's actually legitimately the last head coach fired, and it took John Harbaugh being fired to be able to do it. So, listen, that's just what it is. Hold on, hold on. Just adjusting my sound a little bit because I just saw Jay in the chat. Jay, welcome aboard. Glad you could join us for another episode of Free Refill. Greatly appreciate seeing you here for yet another opportunity. But listen, the thing is with this mic thing is saying also a chain sounding like 2 Chainz got robbed. Dude, you know what's also funny? I hate that in this photo, if I just do it right, I can kind of look like him. Like, not fair. It's not fair. I feel if I had the clear glasses and like I hadn't just shaved like, I don't know, like 15 minutes ago, I would have been looking exactly like this guy. He'd have the headset too on the sideline, so we could be even more similar. Mike McDaniel, though, needed to go. I think Tua's regression especially plays a big role in that. I think the overall regression of the offense plays a big role in that. Just not a great opportunity to... Yo, hope you don't mind. I created a logo for the free refill. Jay, I do not mind at all. That is amazing. Hold on, I'm just checking something. Yep, okay. Weird. That is awesome, Jay. I need to see it. After the show, you gotta show it to me. You gotta show it to me, and you know what? I'll make it the logo upcoming for the next episode. That's Jay. That makes me so happy, man. I've had a stressful week, so that is awesome that I can actually see a logo for the free refill segment. That's gonna be sick. So I appreciate it, Jay. Thank you. Oh man, now it's just in my head. It's the only thing I'm thinking about. Mike though need to go, and I think again back to just with John Harbaugh. When John Harbaugh got fired, John Harbaugh gets fired. I don't think Mike McDaniel gets fired if John Harbaugh doesn't get fired. And on top of that, I think there are other coaches that should learn from this and see that the Ravens have fired John Harbaugh and go ahead and fire their guy. I'm looking at you, Cincinnati, with Zach Taylor. I'm looking at you, the New York Jets, with Aaron Glenn. Those are guys that should not be head coaches. It's just, I'm sorry. I can see it. I can physically see it. It makes me sick. Those guys shouldn't be head coaches. I don't have any other words for you. I think Zach Taylor should 100% be fired. And I think Aaron Glenn should be fired. Listen. The Cincinnati Bengals are hard carried by a great quarterback and a great wide receiver duo. It's not Zach Taylor carrying that offense. It's not even close. He has not produced a top 20 offensive line. And why Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are vouching for him? Listen, man, I get it. You guys went to a Super Bowl together. But he's not going to do anything else for you, dude. It's done. He can't produce an offensive line. Get him out of there. McDaniel to the Lions as OC. Jay, I don't dislike that. I think actually I've heard I wouldn't dislike Atlanta either. I think Atlanta as an offensive coordinator would be a great fit for Mike McDaniel. I think Mike McDaniel will be someone who will be on the market. I think he does understand offense. I just think he's better as a coordinator. Listen, if your last name is anything close to McDaniel, like Josh McDaniels, you're going to be a great coordinator. You just give coordinator energy. And that's what Mike McDaniel brings. He's not fully, it's tough to respect him as a leader. Look at this guy. Look at him and look at me. Are we NFL coach? Do we look like NFL coach material? Not quite. But we look like guys who could be good play callers on the sideline, like covering up the mouth, pacing up and down the sideline, making those calls. That's what we are. That's just the vibe that Mike McDaniel brings. And I think honestly, him and I, maybe we should be dual offensive coordinators in Atlanta, calling some nasty trick plays, especially with Bijan in the backfield. I think a lot of people would be falling for stuff. The Lions would work, though. With Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't see why not bringing in a much more proven OC. I definitely think it could work, especially because as much as I like guys like A-Chain and Waddle, I think the duo of something like Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and especially with Sam Laporta at tight end, you presume he'll be healthy. Jared Goff, a little bit more of an accurate not more accurate, but I would say more consistent. I think Jared Goff has what I would say about the same ceiling as Tua, if not higher, and then a higher floor. I think just Jared Goff is a strict upgrade from Tua any way you slice it. And Jay saying he looks like that coked up dad arguing with umps at his son's Little League game. Yeah, listen, there's a lot. That's a different category in and of itself, Jay, because I think there's a lot of different dads who argue at unks who look coked up. I think there's a lot of different. It's a wide spectrum of dads arguing with the umpires about their son's Little League games. They are all very different in their own way. There's always one, but you never know who it's going to be. It could be anybody. It could be like the little like plus size guy with the little baseball cap like off to the side or backwards. It could be a guy like Mike McDaniel who's like really skinny, didn't necessarily have the dominant prowess. Did Mike McDaniel play a lot of college football? I feel like, did he play any football when he was younger? I don't know. I feel like he'd be like me and kind of not play as much football. He'd play like soccer. I feel like he's a big soccer guy. He's got soccer vibes. That's got to be the sport he played. But with the Mike McDaniel firing, I think that it should trigger chain reactions where Cincinnati fires Zach Taylor and the Jets fire Aaron Glenn. But listen, I think those firings should have already happened. If they're not going to happen at this point, I think there's just no faith, and I have no faith in either of those two teams next year. Just again, because I don't trust their head coaches. And again, I'm going to emphasize this point. Mike McDaniel being fired after John Harbaugh has been fired should convince the Bengals to fire Zach Taylor and the Jets to fire Aaron Glenn, because you cannot, especially Zach Taylor. You can argue, give Aaron Glenn another year. You can maybe make an argument. But keeping Zach Taylor after what has now been his 7th season of not having a top 20 offensive line, when there are so many different offensive coaches that are able to build up offensive lines like that, pack it in. Joe Burrow, Jamar, T, you guys are defending the man because you were in the Super Bowl together. Bro hasn't figured it out since. Bro hasn't built up an offensive line. Bro hasn't really added any more offensive talent outside of the 3 guys he does have in-house. The defense has significantly regressed, and the offensive line has stayed the same or gotten worse. I think the Bengals should be firing Zach Taylor. If they don't, no one gonna take them seriously again. But enough about Mike McDaniel. He's got, for now, a little bit. We'll get back to the head coaching search. The next thing we got to get into is 100%. The college football playoff semifinals are here. It is tonight. In 15 minutes, kicks off Ole Miss versus Miami. Carson Beck going up against the hottest, I would say the hottest quarterback of the 4 left. I know Fernando Mendoza's played really well, but I think what Trinidad Chambliss did in their previous matchup against Georgia just spoke so much in volume. I think what he's doing right now is incredible. I think the way he's playing is incredible. This is going to be an interesting one because I think each game is going to be very emotional for Ole Miss, more so than I think a lot of other teams, because the difference is, of course, they're trying to prove their coach wrong. Like, they're going to be really pissed that their coach went to LSU. Like, they're trying to get back at the man. They are trying to get back at their coach, man. Like, the absolute absurd move. It still shocks me. It still shocks me that Lane did that. It's still, and I'll tell you what, it still should make a lot of people very, like, people feel like, even like people who don't like Ole Miss at all, and I know a couple people who are actively rooting for Ole Miss despite like being like Mississippi State fans. Like, it's ridiculous. That's how motivated people are to see Ole Miss go in and stick it to Lane Kiffin and go try to get a championship, or at least get close to one. And I think this matchup, this is going to be a good one. I think the Indiana, like, for example, the one we'll talk about that happens tomorrow, Indiana versus Oregon. I think that one's going to be really fun because you expect those 2 guys to go 1 and 2 in the draft, presuming, Dante Moore commits, knowing that he might go to the Jets. But seeing that matchup between the quarterbacks that are likely to go number 1 and number 2 in the draft is going to be really entertaining. It's going to be a hoot and holler. It's going to be a riot. I think that's going to be an entertaining game, but it's very clear that Indiana just feels like should be the favorite going in. Could still be exciting, but I feel like Indiana would take that. Whereas Ole Miss versus Miami could literally teeter-totter either way. It feels such like a 52% to 48% chance to win. And I think especially as long as if Ole Miss, I think especially can keep Miami in third and longs, this is their game, I think. I think if they can just prevent Miami from getting those third mandibles, because I think the majority of the time Miami's going to convert those. It's just for Miami to beat Ohio State, for Ole Miss to beat Georgia. I understand why Miami is the favorite. I believe +3 right now. And I honestly, I think I'm going to take them. And the only reason I say I'm going to take them is because I think that their defense has played in a lot of big critical moments well. We'll see how they match up against Trinidad Chambliss tonight. But I think Miami comes out and squeaks out a win. I think it'll be even closer than the Ohio State game. I think I would even argue of the 3, but of the 3 games that are left between these 2 semifinal matchups and finally the national championship, I think this one tonight is going to be the best overall game of the 3. I think just because of who the teams are that are going in, the stakes that are coming in for both teams, being this kind of underdog status, like when both teams feel almost like a little underdog status, it gets exciting. I feel like when you enter a game and it feels like both teams are underdog status, you got 2 options. The game's going to be awful or the game's going to be amazing, and it's the college football playoffs, so the game's got to be amazing, right? As of right now, man, I'm going to roll with Carson back in Miami, and part of the reason I feel the need to roll with Carson is because Carson, like, let's be honest, he's been here before. Like, that's the interesting thing, and that's why I think at a certain point, like, the moment's not too big for him. He's a 2-time college football national champion. He's been around these moments before. Like, granted, obviously he was a freshman to a certain point, but I mean, he's seen these things play out. He's seen these situations, and he knows what it takes to win in these spots because he's been a part of a team who has won in those spots. I feel like it's gotta be. I gotta roll slightly over Carson Beck. I know how talented Chambliss is, and that Ole Miss team is so excited. But I'm rolling Miami. I think Miami's gonna pull off a stunner and get the win. And then in Indiana, Oregon tomorrow, it's gonna be a good one. But I still think Indiana is just that team. The what Kurt Cignetti has done to mold and change what has by far been a team that was so, like, you're talking about a Division II quarterback who now is becoming one of, if not the most important player in college football right now. You're talking about a dude. You're talking about a guy. And you're talking about a coach who knows how to coach. I mean, this was the worst program of all time, and all of a sudden, here's Indiana. Here come the Hoosiers. I think it's incredible. I think it's an incredible story for a 1 seed, especially because I find that a lot of people end up rooting for underdogs, but it's weird. It's like an underdog team, not even an underdog team. They're the clear favorite, but to see their story and actually wanting to see them close it out, that's just amazing. And then saying about Mike McDaniel, Jay saying he was a ball boy for Denver. I don't even know if Denver, man. I don't know if Denver. He'd be like a ball boy for Miami, actually. He kind of looked like a ball boy a little bit on the side, like the oldest ball boy, senior ball boy, super senior ball boy. And then Carson Beck just sounds like he'll have a Chad Pennington-like career. Listen, man, Chad Pennington made the Jets pretty decent. That's not a bad career. That could be very exciting for Carson Beck. I would love to see Carson Beck have that. Even he could, like, I don't know. I definitely think like a Chad Pennington. I was going to say Dak, but it's like, Dak has actually, like, I don't know. Dak statistically, he's not gonna have like a Dak statistical like season, but he'll definitely be. I could see a little Chad Pennington action going from Carson Beck. It's got to be the right situation, but I could definitely see it out of Carson. Got to go to a right little spot, sneak in, win the starting job. But I'm excited to watch the game tonight. I probably miss the first. I'll have it on the side just so I could have keep y'all updated, but or at least so I can stay updated, see what's going on. Just to stay up to date. But definitely something I want to watch tonight. I'm gonna be locked in. I'll say this: the one thing I do worry about with Trinidad Chambliss, as talented as he was against Ohio State, there was one throw before he did his throwaways at the end of the game that was like, ooh, that was close. It was close. And you know, at any given point, I thought, man, if Georgia came down with that, could have been a very different game. But if he avoids those type of turnovers in this game versus Miami, then Ole Miss has a real shot. But I am still going to roll with Miami by like 2 points. And then if whoever matches up now, presumably, let's say it's Miami and it's Indiana, I actually think that's the perfect matchup for the championship, but I still think Indiana would take it. I still feel like Indiana is the overwhelming favorite. If Indiana loses, it is honestly very heartbreaking for a fan base that has probably suffered quite a bit, all things considered. So hopefully, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All I hope for is that it's close. I hope it's close. I hope it's exciting, and I hope it's fun. I guess that's 3 things. But I mean, those all kind of go together. Those aren't that much different. Anyway, moving on from the college football playoff. I'll be reacting to it once it's closer to its conclusion. I want to get into the NFL head coaches. So Mike McDaniel getting fired leaves now the door open for not 1, not 2, but 8 head coaching vacancies. And that would leave, so going over them right now, that would be the Tennessee Titans, the New York Giants, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Miami Dolphins have officially opened up. We would have the Tennessee Titans. Wait, did I say that? Let me start again. Let's start. I do this better by division. Ravens and Browns, Titans, Raiders, Cardinals, Falcons, Giants. I am missing one again. How do I do this? How did I do this? How did I get here? I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one. Who am I missing? NC South? I said Falcons. Dolphins. I didn't say Dolphins. Dolphins. Browns, Ravens. Dolphins, Browns, Ravens. Raiders. Titans. Giants. Falcon. I'm like gonna lose my mind, bro. I'm just pulling it up. I'm pulling it up. Pulling it up right now. I'm like, how do I, like, every time I was just there and I just miss it. What are we doing? Ravens, Giants, Browns, Titans, Raiders, Falcons, Cardinals, Dolphins. Okay, that's what it is. There we go. We got there. Maybe I didn't even count right on my fingers. Looking at the top 8, in terms of who is the best and the worst coaching situation. So ranking the tops. I'm not going to do this in a conventional 8-1 because I feel like it's pretty clear who the number 1 is, and it's Baltimore. To be able to coach the Baltimore Ravens, when you consider the roster that's available, it is clearly the premier head coaching destination without a doubt. You're going to have 2-time MVP Lamar, Derrick Henry, Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith. We'll see if Nnamdi Madubuike is healthy. Like, you and Tyler Linderbaum, who's a great center. Like, a lot of your key positions, you're going to be fine. Baltimore probably needs, like, an edge rusher. But you have a lot of key positions that are very clearly, you know what your roster is going to be going in. So it's a very clearly team that is built to set up to win now. The expectation is to win now. The only downside is pressure, but if you're a coach that wants to win, you're pursuing that job. So they're number 1. My second, I would say personally, is the Giants. Now, I know there's some fluctuation between if the second best is New York or if it's Atlanta. I think due to, honestly, the quarterback, I think having Jackson Dart, I think right now, based on what I've seen, I think Dart is better. I think he is better than Michael Penix. I think he's a little bit more mobile than Michael Penix. I think he just needs to protect himself. But you have him with Cam Scadaboo, with Malik Neighbors, with Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence on the defense. Couple nice savvy moves in free agency. This team could not just make the playoffs next year. They could easily win the division. Number 3 then is Atlanta. Well, division, they need Philadelphia to struggle. They need Philadelphia to struggle, but they could, if Philadelphia does a similar season to this year, or maybe even a slight regression, and the Giants have the boost I think they're going to have, they could sneak this division away, because they beat them earlier this year. And you could have argued beaten them in that other game, which very much felt like was poorly officiated. I digress. Number 3 is Atlanta. Atlanta, I think, is the third best in head coaching, because when you think about having Drake London and Bijan, Bijan are pretty much, you could argue, the best at his position right now. Drake London is a top 10 receiver minimum. Could potentially choose to keep Kyle Pitts or not. We'll see if they do. Their offensive line is not bad, and they have some young players like Xavier Watts on the back end, and then I think it's James Pierce Jr. on the front for Atlanta. That's what, man, I don't want to butcher his name now. I haven't watched enough Atlanta, but I believe it is James Pierce. They're calling him JPJ. We were gonna reserve that for Jason Pierre-Paul, but Jalan. No, what? Pierce. Who am I thinking of? Yeah, James Pierce Jr. That is who I'm thinking of. James Pierce Jr. They also have Jalan Walker. They have some really solid players. Their defense played very well, all things considered. They're going to have some young guys as well that will be able to contribute to winning. I like Atlanta at 3. After that, it gets a little dicey. So I think those are the consensus top 3. After that, gets interesting. Where to place 4? I have the Titans. I could go Raiders. Because honestly, I'll tell you who's last. I'll keep going in order though, for the sake of simplicity. Who would be kind of middle of the road? I don't think it's Arizona. I would say 4 would probably have to be Tennessee. I also need to factor salary cap into this. Who has the most cap space in the NFL? Because I'm going to have to see who has the most cap space. Marcus, welcome in, my good sir. Greetings and salutations. Greetings and salutations, kind sir. Greetings in, Marcus. Welcome in. Ranking. So, okay. 1 Baltimore. 2 Giants. 3 is going to be Atlanta Falcons. I would need to see cap. Honestly, yeah. Let's do that. I think 4 is Tennessee, strictly based on the salary cap. They're going to be, it looks like outside of the Chargers, Chargers will be second in cap. Titans will be second. I don't know how the Chargers are 1 in cap next year. It's going to be crazy. 2026, Titans are going to be second in cap space. They're going to make some big moves in free agency. They still have a high draft pick. They're going to contribute to helping Cam Ward. You have the number 1 overall pick who still has booming potential. I think they would be 4. I think 5 then has to be the Raiders, because they're going to be 3rd in cap space. You can still make a decision if you want to trade Max or not. If you do trade Max, you're going to get draft picks. You're going to have your choice of quarterback, and then you're just going to be able to spend all that money in free agency again. So I think the flexibility you'll be allowed with the Raiders as well makes it a little better than Cleveland, who I would have 6. It's not super great, because I think you, at the very bright side, you have Harold Fannin. So yeah, Titans at 4. They'll have a lot of cap space. They'll be looking really good. You'll be able to spend your money. You have a number 1 overall pick in Cam Ward. Number 5, you have the Raiders. I think slightly overall worse, but you're still going to be 3rd in cap space. You'll get your pick of quarterback. And then looking at 6, Cleveland, it's not a great quarterback room. There's no guarantee you get a guy in this draft, but you still have some young pieces like Fannin. You'll have a second first round pick to use in this draft. So you will have 2 firsts to use in this draft. You can go get a quarterback in free agency. You could potentially trade for one of those other guys to be a bridge in the meantime, like a Tua, just to eat up someone's cap. and just have them, and then eventually cut them whenever they cease to be useful. The other two are interesting because I think they're just bad. I think they're the worst vacancies. You can flip a coin, to be honest. Personally, I like Arizona a little better just because I think their offensive pieces like Trey McBride and Michael Wilson are a little bit more exciting to me and are easier to create an offense around as opposed to someone like Waddle and Achane. And additional, like they both have to unload quarterbacks in the form of Kyler Murray and Tua. I think what the difference is Arizona's cap space situation is much better because at least Arizona is going to have $25 million cap, whereas Dolphins are going to be $23 million below the cap due to what they have. So they're going to have to free up pieces and they're going to have to make a lot of financial decisions. Miami's just not a great one. I only like Cleveland a little bit better just because I think you'll have, and again, going to Cleveland, the other thing with Cleveland is Cleveland can unload Myles Garrett. Like if I'm going to Cleveland, my hot take, I unload Myles Garrett. Because here's the thing, his value is going to be so much more valuable now than it will ever be for the rest of his career, in my opinion. He'll still be great, but I think right now is a peak opportunity to say, okay, we need to A, create cap space. We need to B, get draft picks for the future. It's like a lot of people will be like, why are you doing that? You weren't winning games with him while he was there, and you're not going to be winning games there next year, even with him there, even if you bang out in the draft and free agency. Like, I just don't think you're in a great position to be making it. So why not trade him at his peak value? I mean, I get it. NFL sack leader in a season. But you know how much you could make out like a bandit from a team that's trying to win? Like, I think it would make a lot of sense to at least consider. But I still also think and the other reason I would probably have Cleveland ahead of someone like Miami is because, or even like Miami or Arizona, is simply the strength of the division. The AFC North isn't particularly strong, considering that the Ravens just fired their head coach. Pittsburgh is always just going to be, you kind of just know what Pittsburgh's going to be every year. And Cincinnati still has Zach Taylor. So if you go to Cleveland, at the very least, you could still be in the mix. Whereas if you go to Arizona or Miami, you're not getting by New England or Buffalo. In the NFC West, you're going to be irrelevant. You got three teams that are miles ahead of you. So I think that's reality. So it would be Ravens 1, Ravens 1, Giants 2, Falcons at 3, Titans 4, Raiders 5, Browns 6, Cardinals 7, and Dolphins rounded out at 8. I think that's basically what it's going to look like. I think a lot of people have something similar. I think some people have like Cleveland a little higher. Like some people have Atlanta low. I actually like where Atlanta sits, but not strong, just like Kenny Pickett's arm. Dang, that's crazy. That's crazy, Marcus. Listen, why you gotta talk KP like that? Why you gotta say that about Kenny Pickett? I'm just kidding. Make fun of Kenny Pickett all you want. That guy was You know what? I'll say this. Baltimore still found a way to lose to Kenny Pickett. So, everybody, let me say this. If you lost to Kenny Pickett, I can't help you. I can't help you, man. You're just a lost cause, you know? It's a darn shame, but you a lost cause. All right. Moving off the NFL head coaching vacancies, we now go into the next big thing, and of course, we got... Well, actually, let's talk this a little bit first. Let me start that over real quick. Let me just back up or rewind. Before we get into our NFL playoff predictions, I'm going to close out with that. I got to speak a little bit about the Trae Young to the Washington Wizards. And I have two words. Actually, no, I take it back. I have one word. Holy fleece. It's such a fleece, it's one word. It is holy fleece. Listen, a lot of people will not like Trae Young. I get it. I know a lot of people who do not like Trae Young. But even those people will say Trae Young, 100% Washington fleeced Atlanta. Washington needed a point guard. They basically contract dumped McCollum And who was the other guy that got traded? What was the other full trade? Let me get into this. Just give me the details, brother. Give me the details. No, I don't. I just want the details. I don't want anything else. I don't want Hawks trading Trae Young, 2 Wizards for McCollum and Corey Kispert. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, this was just the easiest. Atlanta got basically nothing. Atlanta's listen. You know Atlanta's not going to like any sort of championship. Neither is Washington. But Washington needs to figure out what they have, and they'd like to have a decent point guard. And listen, even if the Trae Young thing doesn't work out in Washington, you're barely committed to him because you gave up nothing for him. Like, a lot of teams, these trades fail because, like, for example, if the Colts are going to be committed to Sauce Gardner, so if they move off of him, it's like, oh my gosh, look at what they gave up for Sauce. Whereas, like, if trading for Trae Young, it's like, okay, Trae Young worked out. Oh, they didn't have to give up anything to get him. They basically got him for a bag of packing peanuts. Not even regular peanuts, packing peanuts. Like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine no matter what. If it doesn't work, so what? If it works and actually makes this team more competent and able to build more chemistry and become maybe not like the best team in the East, but a viable threat is like a 6 seed down the line for like next year, because I don't think it's going to happen this year, I'll be honest. That's amazing. That's incredible. That's perfect. You won. Like, it doesn't really matter what happens for the rest of the season and for the rest of next season, because it doesn't matter what's going to happen. Unless Trae Young literally doesn't play and CJ McCollum becomes a god, which is impossible. It's just impossible. It's not going to happen. It's done. Washington got a guy who's going to at least make them more entertaining to watch and more exciting. And even, like, what's the Wizards? You know what? Wizards roster right now. Because, like, Alex Sarr at center, underrated. I forgot they have Chris Middleton. Jeez, man. But you went Trae Young to a core of, like, Cam Whitmore, Chris Middleton, Keyshawn George, Alex Sarr. Listen, it's not winning trophies, but it'll be better. And they're still looking to keep, like, a top, like, it's still in a position where they're still going to keep their first. I'm just saying, I think this was awful by Atlanta. This is just Atlanta in general. This is just, I'm going to say this, Atlanta sports fans, listen, it's not the Jets, but it still sucks. Like, being a Falcons or a Hawks fan is rough. Like, the best thing they got was an incredible Trae Young playoff run, and they didn't, and that's it. And it feels like they should have gotten more, but they just didn't. And then, if you're a Falcons fan, 28-3 is just going to be in your head forever. Like, even like right now, no one voluntarily becomes a Falcons fan. If you're a Falcons fan, it's because you were born, bred, and raised into it. That's the reality. I will say, that's it, really. I won't say. This is what it is. Man, I don't know what you're talking about. Trae Young, not a game. We're talking about Trae Young, not a game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my... What? Trae Young, not a game? Look, dude, I said it. You can be a Trae hater all you want, but it's... What did Atlanta get? Atlanta maybe contract dumped, sure, but if you think about where the Wizards are going, either Trae Young doesn't work and they move off of him and they didn't give up anything to get him, or Trae Young is able to at least build up some form of offense in Washington that's somewhat entertaining and sells tickets, and it's better. It's just better than what they had before. It's a strict upgrade. Even if it's like somehow, there's no way it could be worse. Washington needed a point guard. They got a point guard by basically getting rid of nothing. They got rid of nothing. They got a point guard. If they find out, oh man, this box is full of nothing, it's not like they got duped into giving away something more than nothing. The Allen Iverson press conference, but the word practice is replaced by Trae Young. The Allen Iverson Trae Young press conference. Man, Allen Iverson's going to be stepping over Trae Young. We all know that. He wouldn't even be stepping over him. He wouldn't be there because he wouldn't have been playing defense to do it. But like, it's not what he's there for. He's just gonna be there to shoot and pass, shoot, pass, shoot, pass, shoot, pass. It's gonna be fine. It's nothing crazy. But listen, I'm gonna be real. It was gonna happen. The way it was going in Atlanta, it was gonna happen. Trey's gonna get. You know, I really. I'm honestly, you know what? I'm honestly kind of glad it's not Dallas, because I think. Actually, not that it wouldn't be funny, because it would have been like funny in an ironic sense. But I also feel like who wants Anthony Davis on the Hawks? Who wants AD really anywhere that's like a losing team? That's the problem with like, I feel like players who are especially very brittle and older, them being on a losing team is just such a waste. If they were on a winning team, it's like, oh, you're playing Risk. If you're on a losing team and you're just in there, it's like, dude, what? What are we doing? Come on. Ugh. Anyway, I'm done with Trae Young. I'm done. I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say Wizards fleeced the Hawks. That's the point of my power presentation. There you go. Last but not least, guys, it's time. Oh, it's wild card weekend. Wild card weekend. Let me also hold on. Let me check on before I get into that. I'm just gonna. Oh my god, I can't type! There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go, go, go. Go, there we go, there we go, go, go. Oh man, they already walking out of the tunnel. It's gonna be Ole Miss versus Miami. Holden Brittle, so the big three. Yeah, but at least, like, that's the thing. They won for, like, a little bit. They had that one season. They have now the famous clip where they have the guy arguing, Kevin Durant got his foot on the line, went into overtime. He didn't score, bro. He didn't put up no buckets. It's honestly, I feel so much for that take, too. Just don't feel like KD's nearly as legend. Stop calling that man legendary. Ain't no way. Especially now, is like having him on my team for a little bit. I'm like, yeah, you can't call that. Don't call that man legendary. Don't call him that. Edgerrin James and Ray Lewis coming out as honorary captains. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Here we go. And Miami's got so many iconic players. Got so many iconic players. Anyway, the NFL wild card weekend is upon us. We have 6 wild card games to get into for this upcoming weekend. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so nice and fun. I'm just going to get into it. I want to get into each of these. The main 2 headliners on Saturday. We kick off wild card weekend with Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers going up against Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. I'll say this for this game. Look, man. If Carolina does this again, let's say, because think about it. This entire playoffs, nobody knows who's good. If Carolina starts these playoffs by beating the Rams, that point is emphasized and sent home to every single person. Every single person's like, that's okay. Like, this is the game that at least will be normal and LA should win. Listen, LA hasn't played great down the stretch. LA has struggled down the stretch. Is Devontae Adams going to be fully healthy and ready to go? Because if not, this could be a problem. If he is, I think this is easy Rams win. If he's not, I think Carolina's got a real shot. I think it just depends how the defense comes out and plays. If they pressure Bryce Young and force turnovers, it's going to be easy. But if you let Bryce Young, believe it or not, start getting a little pep in his step, then you can very quickly find yourself at the other end, at the wrong end of a shootout. I also think, I don't know what the weather's going to be like for this game, but I will say, I very much, though, think the Rams win this. I don't think the Rams allow themselves to lose to Carolina twice on the same field in the same season, especially to a team that is below 500. I think the Rams come out a little bit more prepared defensively, and they're going to make life difficult for Bryce Young. And if I look at that Rams depth chart, which I'm about to do so, that Rams team is going to have Devontae Adams back. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I just, again, and plus the combination of like Kyron Williams and Blake Corum down the stretch too has been better. You're looking at guys like Byron Young and Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner and Jared Verse. And even, honestly, the back end because, What? What am I thinking of? Is he not on this? No, I'm Emmanuel Forbes. Yeah, he is. Thinking of Forbes. Forbes has honestly played some very good football as well this year as a cornerback. And Carolina has their players like Derek Brown, like J.C. Horn, Cuba Hubbard, and Rico Dowdle have been a great combo together. But I just think Carolina hasn't played consistently pretty much all year. To expect them to just show up and beat the Rams again, I just don't buy into it. So I can't willingly take the Panthers. I would take the Rams to move on in the playoffs. And then we get, I'm going to put this in quotes, an all-time great rivalry, because I think it is by far one of the most overrated rivalries in sports. And it's mostly because one team, the Green Bay Packers, usually kicks the snot out of the Chicago Bears all the time. But now it's good because the Bears are good again. Whatever. I think it is such an overrated rivalry. I do not get nearly as hyped for it as not that I don't get hyped for it, but I just think it's overrated. I really do. I think the peak of it is just so overrated. It's not as high as people give it credit. Jay saying, looking at the national TV schedule 2 games Saturday, 3 Sunday, 1 Monday. Was a Monday night game needed? Did move it to Saturday? ESPN sucks. Yeah, I don't understand why they're doing a Monday night game at all. I don't remember them doing Monday night games. I remember them exclusively being on the weekends. Like back 10 years ago, I never remembered them forcing a game on Monday. I guess it was probably because like, oh, we don't want the full week. No, like, dude, nobody needs to see a Monday game between nobody. Although I will say, obviously I'm going to be watching it because, you know, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Starting off, though, I do think LA is going to beat Carolina. Chicago, Green Bay, I said, listen, the thing is, I was going to say, like, man, Packers, a lot of people are telling me Packers can win this game. Can they? Like, I get it, Chicago's inconsistent, but I look at the Packers and it just feels like they're limping in. Like, they closed out the regular season by losing to the Vikings. Like, their last 4 games, or last few games, they lost to Chicago. They've lost the last month of the year. So the Texans play the Ravens and Steelers. Nice. Marcus, look, man, I didn't have the graphic was made. I don't know, man. I took it off Google Images, the first one. I wish, dude, if we could do a combined, honestly, a combination between the Steelers and the Ravens team, I think wins. I think wins the Super Bowl. You know what we're doing? We're doing Aaron Rodgers underset. We get Aaron Rodgers lined up to his left, Derrick Henry, to his right, Lamar Jackson. Unbeatable offense. You would get that. I would get this is how we'd run it every play. We'd use basically no receivers. We would have Mark Andrews. If he was healthy, we'd have Darnell Washington. And then I would have I'd probably have Kenneth Gainwell. And I would run that. Like, you're not beating that. You're not beating that. Like, you're 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, and 2 quarterbacks. Like, you're just, no, it's over. It's done. That would be absurd. H-back options all day. Dude, Darnell Washington, like, Derrick Henry or Kenneth Gainwell or Lamar, like, so many big bruisers and fast players, like, we don't know who's getting the ball. This is so scary. Every single play for defenses. That's what I would do. No one would know how to defend it. It would be impossible. DK Metcalf, we'd just use him as a tight end. He doesn't need to catch passes. He just needs to block. Go block. Oh my gosh, that would be an absurd combination of offense. Back to Chicago, Green Bay. I'm trying to look at this Packers depth chart. And people are saying, like, Malik Willis will start a playoff game. Relax. Let's calm down. I don't even know if he's playing. He's questionable. But, I mean, like, I think really, and I got to be honest, the loss of Micah Parsons is just weighing heavily. It just is. Like, you lose Micah. It's not the same defense. It doesn't have it's not nearly as fierce as you'd like it to be. It's not nearly as dynamic as you'd like it to be. And against a team like Chicago who's going to run the ball down your throat, I think the Bears win this game. I think the Bears win it. I think the Bears would move on. When was the last time they won a playoff game? It would have been since the 2010 season. I think was the last time they would have won because they were in the NFC Championship game that year. First playoff win since 2010. I think the Chicago Bears would do it. As long as Caleb Williams doesn't have any significant turnovers, they should beat Green Bay. But again, like, I wouldn't doubt it if the Packers found a way to go into Chicago and play spoiler. I mean, it could happen. Rened Chambliss throws incomplete on 3rd and 4. Close. I would take Chicago over Green Bay. So it would be the Rams over the Panthers and the Bears over the Packers on Saturday. Sunday, dude, and then from there on, anybody can win these games. Like Bills, Jags to kick off at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Holy crap, that's absurd. I really like the Jags in that one, man. They're number one rush. They're like the number one rush defense. Trevor Lawrence has played out of his mind the last month. Like, if they win this game, I think A, people start taking Trevor Lawrence seriously, and I think B, people will take Josh Allen significantly less seriously. Like, this is gonna be a good one. I want to pick the Bills so bad just because I do live in upstate New York. But my gosh, I have to go Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's the better team. What the? Why did he catch that punt? Sorry, I'm just also watching Miami and Ole Miss. What? Look, there's not enough. I think Jacksonville just feels. The only thing that the Bills have over them is like a better quarterback and better running back and playoff experience. Outside of that, I think Jacksonville's much better overall. They've been more consistent. I think the Bills can certainly go in and win, but I like the Jaguars moving on to the next round, and Trevor Lawrence gets another shot in the divisional round. 49ers, Eagles, as much as I do not like the way the Eagles have played the entirety of this year, I do think they win this game just because of how banged up the 49ers are. It's a tough position. Like, you've been down Fred Warner, you've been down Nick Bosa, Jordan Kittle has been in and out of the lineup. You don't know if Trent Williams is going to go. It's just not a great situation if you're the 49ers, and to do that, like Ricky Pearsall's questionable, Kittle questionable, Trent Williams questionable. It's too many question marks on the offensive side of the ball. I'd have to roll with the Eagles. They're going to be healthier. They're going to be at home. It's just not a good situation for the 49ers to have to go and travel in. So I'm rolling with the Philadelphia Eagles to down San Francisco and move on. And then it would be Chargers, Patriots. I want to pick the Chargers. I do, just because I don't like the Patriots. But listen, the Patriots are the better team. I think they're the better team. It's debatable. No, I don't think it is. They have the better quarterback in Drake May. I know people will be like, oh, that's an argument. Yeah, Justin Herbert's winning with an awful offensive line, but it's not like Drake May's cast of characters is necessarily much better. I think the Patriots would move on in the second round. And Mike Vrabel also has playoff experience too. Like, he's been in these moments with the Tennessee Titans, so I see no reason why they wouldn't win there. And then finally, Monday Night Football. I ain't picking against my Steelers. Never in a playoff game. I ain't picking against them. I don't care. I can hate them. I can hate on Mike Tomlin all I want. I can be frustrated with any season. I am not picking against them in a playoff. I'm not picking against them. Not at home. Especially not at home. Let's go. Aaron Rodgers is gonna find a way. We keep CJ Stroud. We're gonna find a way to do this. We need to find a way to do this. We need to get a playoff win, man. I need this. We can lose in the divisional round. I don't even care, but we're gonna win this game. Go win this game, man. What Aaron Rodgers did at the end of the game against Ravens, he's going to do coming up right now. He's going to do this, man. He's going to do this. I believe in him. DK Metcalf back. Let's go. Aaron Rodgers, everyone's doubting him. Here comes a playoff run for the ages. Let's go. Anyway, yeah, I think the Steelers are going to beat the Texans. And you know what's crazy? You know what's interesting about Wild Card Weekend? Now, listen, I know I picked Jags Pats, but could you imagine if the Bills and the Chargers both win? You know what that means? If the Bills and the Chargers both win and the Steelers beat the Texans, we get another home playoff game. A lot has to happen, but listen, man, I don't care. I want to ruin everyone's time. Being like, oh man, it's such a cool player. No, here comes Aaron Rodgers, just for fun on one season with the Steelers, baby. Here we go. Oh, it'd just be so entertaining, so fun, man. It'd be so stupid, but it'd be so fun. Oh, hold on. I got comments. So Rams, Bears, Jags, Eagles, Pats, Steelers. Yep. We're 6 for 6, man. We get it. We know ball. You and I, Marcus, we know ball. Amazing. And then Jay, best center in the league, Garrett Bradbury. You mean the Chargers center? Yeah, no. What is he? 37 out of 37 out of centers? Unreal, dude. Unreal. Aaron Rodgers. I owe you an apology. I was unfamiliar with your game. We doing it. You Philip, get better soon, little buddy. Thank you. What do you mean get better? I'm not sick. Actually, I've got like an itch on my head because I bumped it, but like that's not sick. You're gonna do it, man. It's not we, Aaron. You're gonna go do it because you're him. You're the guy. Okay? People thought you lost it. I thought you lost it. I was wrong. Was I wrong? Aaron, go out and get that win, man. I'm excited for these playoffs, though. I think, listen, anything is possible. This is the playoffs where I think the most is possible. And you know why? It's because the Chiefs aren't there, man. Not seeing the Chiefs there, anything feels possible when the Kansas City Chiefs aren't there. So I'm excited for these playoffs, and I hope y'all are too. But I just want to get those predictions off my chest and get them out there. Get them out there to you guys. You guys can know about it. Oh, my God. It's 56. We're at 56 minutes. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna call it a little early tonight. Just because I got a lot of stuff on my plate that I want to get done before Saturday hits. I want to get some stuff edited, released before the playoffs start, so I can just have that stuff out there. So that's pretty much it. I just want that's the reason. That's the reason I'm giving. I'm gonna end it just a few minutes early, just so I can get on top of things and get things recorded and set. So I can have stuff to release before the playoffs and also make some stuff over this weekend. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, for checking out, for commenting. Always a good time recording a little free refill. I'm hoping for more stuff in the future. If you got anything else you want to say before we head out, go ahead, comment it up. I'm going to finish off this little sweet tea. Let's see where Miami and Ole Miss is at. First and 10, 10:50 to go. Oh, Miami is driving, but man, he found a little daylight. My man found a little, not really. He found like 2 yards. He found a little daylight. Not really. He found like 2 yards. But it's coming. You were tagged on IG with the podcast. Wait, what? What do you mean? I was tagged? Where? I was tagged. Myself? Me? That's me? Oh, okay. Word. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. I gotta check out I gotta check out the logo too. Hold on, let me see it. Let me actually pull it up right now before I head out. Let me pull up the free refill logo. See what I can find. Yo! Oh no, Jay! It's so close! But my name has one L. No! So close. We can fix it. We can fix it in post. That's sick, dude. Let's go. Ah! Free refill. Oh no. Dude, look at that though. That is sick. Look at that. That is cool, man. That is awesome. Come on, there we go. I fixed it. That's got a like. That's awesome, dude. I am hyped for that. That's a sick logo. I gotta get that. You know what? I might actually put it up on. I might have to put it up on the. Oh shoot, my camera's not blurry. I'm gonna have to put it up on the YouTube page and dude. Oh my gosh, let's go, baby. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm hyped for that, dude. I'm excited. I might get in the lab. You got me thinking about making logos, Jay. I might have to get. I've been slacking. I might have to get in the lab, cook up some stuff. So, well, first I need my camera to fix. Excuse me, mister. Look at read my palms. Still blurry. I'll fix it for next time. Anyway, guys, make sure you like, you share, you comment, you do the whole thing. I always appreciate it when you guys do that, because it means more people get to be like, oh my God, people are interacting with it. Let's go. Let's get more people here. But there we go. Perfect. Cleans up right at the end. Anyway, guys, there won't be a weekend show just because I'm going to be really busy doing a bunch of watching the games and getting some other stuff recorded and things like that. But in the meantime, I will be back here Monday. We will be back here Monday for Free Refill episode 35. And after that, we roll. So, ladies and gentlemen, I greatly appreciate it. I hope to see you guys next time. And enjoy the start to the NFL playoffs. Enjoy the rest of the college football playoffs.